So in this video, I want to talk about being a smart Pokemon investor and knowing when to miss out and just wait. Yes, I said just wait. It's sort of a meme on the investing side to kind of make fun of people saying to not buy anything and just wait. And we've seen the past year a lot of evidence of, yeah, those people that were saying to just wait, they missed out on a lot of things. So there's some truth to that saying. But it's not always true. There's definitely caveats, and there's some here that I'm going to be showing in this video where smart Pokemon investors are not really investing at this price point because truly price point really is everything, and that is a big factor of knowing, okay, is this a good investment or not based on the factors of the price point and also the age of the set and the future opportunity. And I just want to give some examples here where smart Pokemon investors are most likely not buying and they are missing out and waiting for an opportunity to come. If not, then they just miss out. So the first example here is Mega Evolution. Now, Mega Evolution currently right now as it sits is around $310 a booster box. Now, Mega Evolution is not even a month old yet. It's still very new. And we're talking about a $300+ booster box. Now, I have never really highly recommended at all buy large amounts of these booster boxes at this price point. I've never argued that. In fact, I've just mainly said and have said that with Destined Rivals too. If you want to buy a few boxes, sure, buy some. If it doesn't go down in price, well, at least you have a few. But if it does go down in price, you can buy more when it's lower. Then your average cost will be much lower, closer to when you bought it at the lows versus when you bought some boxes at the highs. And that's sort of been my sort of saying with basically all these new booster boxes. Now, for me, I have decided to just skip out on some sets just because for me it's just not worth the opportunity, sort of the opportunity cost of buying into these, because truly I think some of these boxes I just don't see huge opportunity at the price point. And yeah, buying a few boxes won't hurt, but there's just better places to put my money in my opinion. But for people that do have money or to put to work or just have extra just laying around, you want to buy something, buying a couple of boxes is not going to hurt buying really at any price point. And Mega Evolution being pretty stable since being released at 310, it's not the worst idea to buy a few, but as in investment terms goes, just you have to think about the opportunity, because this booster box coming out this expensive at $310 out the gate, you really have to think about, okay, where do you realistically see this going? Because even if you look at Scarlet and Violet right now, Scarlet and Violet, the most expensive booster box is Paldea Evolved at $450, and that box is over 2 years old. Now obviously it is more expensive of a set, or it is less expensive of a set than Mega Evolution. Paldea Evolved is about $1,200, $1,300 total set value. Mega Evolution is north of $4,000. So there is a difference there. But you have to think about, okay, Mega Evolution being not even a month old in a year, do you think this is realistically could possibly be a $500-$600 booster box? Personally, I don't think so. And that's where I look at, okay, the near just term opportunity, and it just doesn't seem that great, and it's just not, in my opinion, really worth taking on the sort of risk buying a booster box at $300+ within a month of being released. I just don't see there being a lot more upside than downside. I sort of see it not being that great of a investing opportunity because it is pretty expensive. And just based on looking how expensive it is now, where do I see it realistically in the near future? I don't see it growing at some insane rates. In my opinion, this is not a set where I'd be looking at like, okay, yeah, this is going to skyrocket because of XY reasons, being like, okay, this has some crazy $1,000+ chase card, which I mean it has one that's pretty close. But I truly believe Mega Evolution, it is a good set. But at the current price point, I just don't see there being huge amounts of opportunity buying at this price point. Therefore, I'm not buying. I wouldn't buy really anywhere near close to 300. I've always talked about it with Mega Evolution. I'm perfectly fine just missing out on this set. And yeah, it is expensive of a set. It has a lot of value in here, but out the gate being a $300+ booster box, it's really hard to say this is a great investment. Also being very new. And yeah, when you look at the set, the top chase card is $700. The other chase card is $600, and the other SARs here are in the hundreds of dollars. So this is a very expensive set, but you have to think about, okay, the booster box being $300+. Where do you see it being in a year or so? I don't see it being like $600-$700. I don't really see it doubling in a year. I mean, I could be wrong, but just based on how Scarlet and Violet booster boxes have performed, and looking at that, it just seems outrageous to think that this is going to go from 300 to 600 within a year. But anything is possible. But just the upside and downside risk to me doesn't really do it. I find there to be a lot more downside risk than upside, and therefore I'm not really investing in Mega Evolution, and that's why I've decided to skip out. But there were some points where you could have bought this booster box for in the mid 200s, and I even shared an opportunity with you guys where you could have bought, and at that price point I would say it was a lot less risky of an investment, and that one you can maybe vouch for more. But currently right now, as the market is, I mean, the set is performing pretty well, but still, I mean, $300+ a booster box, it just isn't a great opportunity in my opinion to be buying Mega Evolution booster boxes at, especially since I don't think we've even gotten the second wave of product yet. Now, sort of the same ideology applies to Phantasmal Flames. Now, I've talked about how I've skipped out on Mega Evolution to buy Phantasmal Flames, but with all the conditions right now in the market and everything going on, I am not buying a very large amount of these. Like I said, I'm buying at most a few of these boxes, and in that way, I mean, it is still investing, but I do just want to buy some of these just to not miss out on the fact that maybe it never really drops below what I'm paying. But I've even talked about now, I'm still not pre-ordering at 327. I want to kind of be more careful investing into Phantasmal Flames because yes, it's a smaller set. Yes, right now we're going through a small period of stagnation. There's a lot more stuff in the air, so I am being a lot more cautious investing in Phantasmal, but I am not investing a large amount. And it goes with the same thing I said with Mega Evolution and Destined Rivals. Just buy a few boxes if you want the set just to have in the long term. For me, I'm just buying a few because I know it's a good set, but it's pretty expensive, but I just don't want to miss out on having zero. And that's why I'm going to buy some probably eventually, but at the same time, I'm not buying large amounts because I'm not super confident and super, I guess just super confident on this is going to be close to the bottom. I just don't know, and Phantasmal Flames definitely is a very in my opinion, controversial set. Is a lot of people thinking it's going to be a really great set. I think the artworks are it's going to make the set perform extremely well, but it's also a very small set, and a lot of people are saying this is going to be like a Darkness Ablaze situation. It's really hard to say. But for me, I'm looking at the artworks. Obviously this is mainly just a Charizard set, but regardless, the artwork of that SAR and having a gold Charizard, the MUR, I just think is something that I don't want to miss out on. So for me, I'm literally buying a few boxes, and that's it. I'm not going to be buying a large amount of Phantasmal at this price point. It's just the same thing as Mega Evolution. Even you could say more risk, because this set is probably not going to have near as much value as Mega Evolution does. And Mega Evolution being at 310, realistically, let's be real here, Phantasmal Flames being a much smaller set, not having as many chase cards, Phantasmal Flames, do I think it's going to be more expensive than Mega Evolution? Probably not really, because the set value is not going to be anywhere probably near $4,000. So therefore, I'm not buying a large amount, and therefore, I understand many people that are just going to skip the set. I totally understand, but for me, I'm just coming from a perspective of, okay, I just want to have something regardless of what happens. So I'm just going to buy a few, and I'm perfectly fine if I lose half my money on a few booster boxes. Like I'm losing a couple $100. It's not really a big deal, but I just want to have something. And that's just my investment strategy with Phantasmal, is just because I want to have something. But for people that are strictly going for percentage gains and trying to maximize, growth, I understand missing out, because I missed out on Mega Evolution, and I understand the perspective of people have with Phantasmal Flames doing the same thing. Yeah, percentage growth. Will I probably be better off skipping the set and investing into other things? Probably, but like I said, my strategy or just mindset with this set is that I just don't want to miss out on it, and even if it doesn't perform as good, I want to just have something for the long term. It's sort of a slash collecting thing, I guess, because I just want to have a great booster box that has some cards in here that I think will perform extremely well in the long term. Now, Destined Rivals is sort of a situation where this was skyrocketing to the moon. At one point, it was $500, and you could have bought this for $250, and there were still some opportunity buying at $250. Like, I didn't think it was the greatest thing ever, but definitely I was still saying you could buy a few boxes. $250, it was expensive out the gate, but it's not like $300+. So I still saw some opportunity, but it wasn't great, and it did skyrocket at one point to $500. But you can see recently we've had some retracement down to the mid higher 300s, and this is just one example of, okay, how high can these boxes really go being this new before they start going down down and start seeing some, retracement and correction. And that's what we're seeing with Destin Rivals, and goes to my point where, okay, when you're buying this high of a price, $300+, where is the near-term future and opportunity? It can skyrocket. We can see that happening, but also we can see some retracement, which we're seeing with Destined. And that's truly why I'm really just not really buying heavily into any of these new sets. Some of them I'm just skipping, because it's all about percentage growth really with investing. And even though these are great sets, it's just percentage growth wise, and being this new, it's not a great investment opportunity with a lot of these sets. But hey, the sky is the limit. Things can skyrocket. There's anomalies that happen. But for me, just in terms of risk, just buying these new boxes this expensive, I just don't see the huge opportunity in doing so. And there's just so much more risk you're taking on buying this high, which, hence the reason why I've skipped Mega Evolution, and why I'm just buying a few boxes, like literally a few boxes of Phantasmal Flames at some point. Not, on pre-order. I'm not buying at 330. I'm being more cautious, but just buying these new booster boxes this high, this expensive, I just don't see great opportunity. And I think smart Pokemon investors really are just looking at the price point, and it's not attractive, and probably a lot of smart people are just missing out. Obviously, unless you can, catch a drop on Pokemon Center, or you can catch a drop on Best Buy or something. But other than that, buying at full-blown market price, the opportunity isn't really that obvious, and it's not really there, where I think a lot of smart Pokemon investors are probably just, holding off and buying some other things, which I am doing myself. So that's all I want to talk about in this video. Just sort of a more grounded video talking about, looking at the actual future opportunity with the price points you're buying at. A lot of these newer things, they're good sets, and they're, would be great to have long term, but the biggest thing is the price point. It's not that attractive right now. And also, you can take into consideration right now in this market, things are stagnating a little bit. Is it really that great to pay over $300 for a Phantasmal Flames booster box or Mega Evolution booster box? Also, we're getting wave releases, which, when they come, what will happen to prices? A lot of factors to think about, but generally speaking, a lot of these new releases, there's not much opportunity, at least in my opinion, based on the price point. So that's all I want to talk about in this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.